Good and wonderful evening, y'all. Welcome to Weatherman Nick on YouTube. This morning, we're going to take a look at our Doppler radar here and our next coming severe weather that we could be dealing with. So currently, it's a pretty quiet evening or morning for most of us here. Most of us could be dealing with a little bit of rain towards the Tennessee and um, West Virginia and the Virginia areas, North Carolina, and Kentucky areas. If you're in Pikeville, you're getting most of that rain move through. Most of us is also pretty chilly towards the east here and the south, where we're dealing with just a cold front that moved through about a few days ago that brought us some Arctic air or just some cold air from Canada. And now we're cooled down a good bit. Some of us have been waking up in the lower 50s, and some of us even in the lower 30s. And some of us been reaching up to the 60s and 70s throughout the afternoon. Um, Mostly clear skies out towards here in Rapid City, Nebraska, McCook, Nebraska, Rapid City, South Dakota. Oklahoma City, you're dealing with maybe a possible few showers, but nothing much. Just partly cloudy skies probably down there. Then we got a little system over here towards the California, Oregon, and Washington area here where you're dealing with a few range systems moving through. And this is where we can start dealing with some our new severe weather that we're going to have to watch for in the next several days. We'll have something be developing here and turn into a strong system that we're going to have to watch for here in the next several days. So stay tuned for that. But most of us is staying clear and dry and cold, pretty chilly for the next several days here. I'm going to go ahead and take a look at our um, forecast here. We got a day 3 outlook for a marginal risk for Lincoln, Nebraska, and parts of Missouri, Iowa, and even Kansas here, where we could be dealing with this severe system developing in the next several days. You could be expecting it to develop around Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And that's where we could be dealing with that severe weather, even leading on possibly into our Saturday and Sunday, like our weekends that we could be dealing with this. But as we play it here, you can actually see as the storm system gets decently strong and starts to twist up here and bring out a line of storms. This is where we could be dealing with severe weather on the 13th of Friday here. So if you are in Missouri, Iowa, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Illinois, and maybe parts of Oklahoma, Little Rock, Missouri, Kentucky, Tennessee, Mississippi, these areas here. Let me go ahead and get my little pin out here. You can be dealing with severe weather, and these general areas down here is what I'm mainly keeping my focus on for severe weather in the next several days. We could mark out probably these areas here. Nothing important about these, but these areas here is what my main concern. We could be dealing with 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, small hail, and possible spin-up tornadoes, but it's too far right now to really say that, but it's something we got to pay attention for in the next several days. But here's where our low pressure system would be at right here. This is a pretty classic low pressure system. You can have the heat, the high pressure, crap, I forget what it's called right now, guys. I'm sorry. And then you can have the cold front here, the warm front here, and the cold front here, and then the low pressure down here. And this is just a classical decent severe weather system where warm air and nice juicy dew points start to climb here. This is where you can deal with your classic severe weather and gusty winds and small hail and possible spin up tornadoes, especially with this line here. This could be a QLCS type of line. Nothing too big with that, just your normal fall time weather that we could be dealing with. And then we're going to be dealing with maybe you could deal with a few supercells down here if it does happen. We'll look at that later as we get closer. But it's going to stay mainly dry for the next several days. Some of us is dealing with a extreme drought or a small drought, but it's extreme in some standards, as some of us are extremely dry at this time. And looking down towards here, we've got a general thunderstorm risk, just mainly for training thunderstorms throughout the Florida area. So if you're in Florida, that's going to be some much needed rain. Maybe a little bit too much at times. But we're going to be watching a system later on. We're going to go back here and start moving through that, and we're going to go ahead and play it a little bit here if it loads. We could have a system join from the Gulf and parts of Mexico here, move through, and we could be dealing with some flooding issues through the Houston and New Orleans area and even Gulf Shores and Mobile here. This system would move through, bring some much needed rain down towards these areas down here. But unfortunately, and these areas here as well, forgot to include those, but unfortunately we won't have any rain here. We need much needed rain over here towards the north part of the Dixie Alley area, and the Tennessee Valley is really dry right now. We're having fire bans being issued and many more because of this drought that's going on. We're in a level 2 drought over here in North Alabama, and that's what we're going to be dealing with for the next several days. But as that system moves out, that's when this system will start to spawn. But we're also watching a new system here that's going to try to turn into something, but as more systems move through, it's going to weaken out and not be much of an issue for now. And this is just going to be what we're going to be dealing with for the next several days, just systems after systems trying to develop and turn into severe weather. But this, see, here's another system that we'll have to watch for, but that's 300 days out, so it's not too much to watch for at this time. Let's go ahead and look at our day 3, or day 4. I almost forgot to look at that. So let me bring up our day 4. So here's our day 4. It's in an area that we're generally going to have to watch for as well, and that's the Topeka, Kansas area, the Nebraska and Iowa and Missouri area here that we're just going to be watching for. They could add an extension down towards the Oklahoman areas and maybe up here in these areas. But again, we're going to have to watch, and a little too far out for us to really know. But tomorrow they'll issue something here, but they're definitely catching on with some possible severe weather here. But we need much needed rain in most of these areas anyway, especially down to the south, as we're extremely dry. But that's all I got for you guys this evening. We're going to stay mainly dry, like I said, for most of the few days here until about Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and Friday. Moving on to the weekend, that's when we could be dealing with our weather. But this is brought to you by forecaster, or the forecaster Tanner here. He's the owner of most of this radar graphics, and he's allowed me to be able to use these for my forecast videos. He's helped me out. So this is brought to you by Tanner and his group, the TMC Weather Group. Definitely go check that out. And great thanks to him for allowing me to be able to use half of his things that he's made for me to make these forecast videos. We wouldn't be able to do this without him. Thank you guys for watching this video as well. Go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Thank you guys for 100 subscribers, on this channel, and we're going to keep growing as a family and weather enthusiasts. If you want to work with me, I'll try to get a team worked up here, but I also work with the Malakote weather team, where when we're live, you'll hear them come on most of the time as well. So thank you guys, or thank you to all of them as well for being and joining here. Thank you all for watching this video, and have a wonderful rest of your day.